Introduce yourself, Greg.
I'm Greg. Too late.
And what are we working on?
This is going to be the hopefully a one-armed grave grabber, and what it is a deer head motor that works this arm, and this arm will pull back and go forward as the motor rotates.
So we give an arm reaching effect.
So,
Gotcha.
very slow, but it's still in production. It's going to take a bit.
Alright. And me? I'm the sweaty big fat guy. Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm your other host for these little videos. It's going to be a little combination of sort of a vlog of our Halloween stuff, and hopefully we'll kind of throw in a little bit of how-to-ness on the project, at least that we're making. Please don't take the way we do it as being the best way of doing it. We're just doing it as we think looks okay.
We're amateurs.
We are amateurs. So yeah, and I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Whether I do this a lot for our Halloween build stuff, or whether this will be sort of a one-off. And so here's some of the fun goodness I brought over. Lights are for the Firefly 511, which we'll be setting up for lightning effects. Extension cords, because we use a lot of them. Those are two little motors that, in a plastic bag. Two little motors that I picked up for animatronic-y needs. I also brought over another tombstone. I'll be back, ha ha ha. Some furring strips and such like that. Let's take a look at Greg's haunted keyboard that we're working on. I don't know if we can see that in the light, but there you go. Sort of a take on the Goonies haunted keyboard and some other keyboards I suppose we've seen on videos and such like that. Greg, why don't you go into a little bit of all the insanity you went into?
This is a three-piece system. The backboard is 1 or 2 inch foam board that's been set up and then carved out. The back here, these are tubes that will pump out the smoke, and all they are is PVC with a little bit of Crayola air dry on top to resemble bones at the ends.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a three-piece, so the frame here comes away, as you can see.
Let's see if we can get a shot of there.
And this actually sits on top of this frame.
And we're just hinged up here.
Yep, with hinges. And then
on that side.
The keyboard itself is, this piece comes off. These are also made out of air dry clay, backed or run through with a wire, then small holes drilled through, and then on the back end I put a board, or screwed a board down to hold all the wires in. You probably won't be able to ever see that.
Well, hopefully the trick-or-treaters won't be able to see that, if nothing else.
And coupe de resistance, of course you have to have pull knobs.
Pull knobs for the bevels to change up the sound. And then Greg, what are we doing with these? We are making
those are to represent
little bone facsimiles.
And so what I've done is, this is strips of foam as well. It was 1 inch foam that was cut really small and then hit with a heat gun to kind of wrinkle it, and then hit with white paint, a couple of coats, and then I just went through with a little bit of metallic brown to give it some aging spots on it. So that's where you see the little brown. Now the screws, they're going to be covered over. I'm going to putty those over so that those don't show, but that's how I'm actually keeping it on there instead of trying to use a glue, which with sun will heat and make them fall off.
Yeah, we are actually starting to use that technique, here, let me flip around here. We're actually starting to use that technique in a fair amount of our foam stuff, where we're using screws to do some initial settings and such like that before we use any hot gun or adhesive glue or what have you. It seems to be working pretty well so far. It does look and feel a little strange screwing screws into foam, but it's really just an attachment point. It's not necessarily a strengthening, it's just so to keep pieces together, so when it does get hot in the summer with hot glue and such, when the glue starts to get soft, the piece doesn't peel away. So that's kind of the concept behind that. It's also a quick way to kind of quickly put something together just to see how it's going to look before you glue it, which is not a bad idea to do.
And the main reason that we do this is because, well, this is going to be sitting outdoors for all of October.
Right, very true.
Because it's going to be sitting outdoors, it it's going to have a lot of sunlight, a lot of weathering, and everything else, so we need to make sure that it stays together.
That's where that is. We're also by a glide path for airplanes. Woohoo, look, airplane. So it gets noisy. What can you do? I'm going to walk around back here, show again. So your standard sort of, we prefer the green foam over the pink foam, or blue foam over the pink foam. I call it green foam. Looks green to me, but a lot of people call it blue. And so you can see the tubes that are here. So those are hollow, obviously. And we might a little bit later on, but there's the rig. Here I'm going to go from dark to light and light to dark. And you see all the tubes here, the collection tube. Those connect up to the back, and that's where all the fog will come through it.
So you're gonna admit, it's these bones that I really like.
They're good for accents.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about trying to, originally I thought about trying to do some molds of these and then injecting spray foam. But I tried that before and it didn't work.
Right. So what were you thinking with these two pieces here?
Oh. I was trying to think, these could actually make interesting candle holders. It's just the coxal part of a bag of bones.
Yeah. Ours is a box.
Yeah, ours is a box. Well, it's actually a box of 2 bags of bones. But those could actually become very interesting candle holders.
I like it.
Because you can just put small little tea lights, electric tea lights, mind you, not full flame.
Right.
And mount those there so they would actually hold them. Now the great question is, will they hold them?
Well, we have to put in some long screws in the back and do the old glue thing, I think.
Well, no, it's just
oh, would they actually fit? Yeah.
So that's easy enough. We just grab one and
find out. Yep. Yes, it's hot. I was about ready to have you listen to the cicadas, but they all just stopped. I don't know why.
Tool of the trade. Now this is something that not everyone wants to get because it's kind of expensive, but it's called a hot knife. And this hot knife is what we've used to do all of our cutting with the foam, as well as all of our tombstones and everything else. And all it is, it's a metal blade that gets pumped in here and then heated up through electricity to create this great availability of cutting straight through foam. No more squeaks.
Right.
No more squeaks.
Squeaks. Squeaks being from cutting it with like X-Acto knives or whatever. Now mind you, this is a little bit different than a hot wire foam cutter. Hot wire just heats up a nickel wire. So
this is a nickel blade.
Yeah, full nickel blade, so it's obviously a lot stronger. And what we're doing here is we're just simply cutting the tips of those bones that we saw. Might need to get a little hotter.
I forgot to hold down the trigger. You have to hold down the trigger to actually get it to
give it juice.
Feed it juice so that it actually heats up. And it has a multi-setting so that you can set it at whatever temperature you want. As you can see, it's smoking right now from the leftover foam that's still on it.
I'm sure that's not hideously toxic. Except for, of course, it is hideously toxic. But you get a nice flat cut. Now it's a little receded there because the outer coating of plastic or whatever. You can see at the angle there, there's this little edge from the outside. Of course, foam shrinks when it's heated. So there you go, 2 slices, no fuss, no muss.